SAARC, SAARC is an exception there. It's currently dormant because one of its members, who will remain unnamed, believes that they can practice terrorism at no cost. If you have, let us say, excessive expenditure on the military or borrowing has not been prudent, multiple chickens are coming home to roost at the same time.
We see India playing an increasingly important role in new multilateral groups like the G20, Quad, I2U2, India-Middle East Economic Corridor, etc. Is the Indian government looking to utilize this diplomatic momentum to strengthen more regional groupings such as SAARC, the Indian Ocean Rim Association, particularly the IORA?
Yep. We actually have an IORA meeting next month in Sri Lanka. I'll be going for that. I think, we've even tabled an Indo-Pacific Oceans initiative at the East Asia Summit, where we look at non-security aspects of protecting the ocean space. Today for us, the challenge is there are new opportunities, there are new combinations, and how do you do that without losing focus of what you have? So it's a kind of, it's a bird in the bush and the bird in hand, but you want to keep both of them. Part of the challenge is also to keep the older partners convinced that your interest in what you've been doing for some time remains. The SAARC, SAARC is an exception there. It's currently dormant because one of its members, who will remain unnamed, believes that they can practice terrorism at no cost. So that's an exception, but otherwise we've been pretty much active, and really even the latest latest initiative we're looking at is this Middle East corridor, which has India at one end and Europe at the other. So it has, for the moment, Saudi Arabia and the UAE, but it is it's got the US as well as a kind of a guarantor partner, if you would. It really has a lot of possibilities because, given if we can find a more seamless, effective, competitive logistics between India and Europe, I think it will have enormous consequence for the global economy.
Again, without mentioning any names, somebody's asked, as we speak today, the situation in India's western neighborhood is deteriorating at a fast pace. There could be a situation where a country could collapse or see unrest. How is India preparing for such an unknown event, or how could it prepare?
In an unnamed country.
In an unnamed country to the west of India.
We have a few countries.
There's more than one option.
Who are having problems of their own. Look, today there are countries in different parts of the world in crises of different kinds, and we have a few proximate to us. We saw Sri Lanka, which really went through a very, almost an economic meltdown last year, and we had to step forward because they were engaged in a negotiation with the fund, and their needs were so immediate and so serious that we actually did the largest bilateral lending that we've ever done, which was we gave them almost a package of $4 billion as a way of stabilizing their economy. The unnamed country to our west, which we are talking about, they have a much, their problems are much more long term. They're much more deeper historically in terms of what happens when distortions have been introduced into the natural progress of an economy. That if you have let us say, excessive expenditure on the military, or if your borrowing has not been prudent, or if you have infrastructure which doesn't pay its way. I think there are a lot of factors there in multiple chickens are coming home to roost at the same time.